Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Legends of 40K. We're talking about a Space Marine special character from Codex Space Marines. Talking about Marneus Augustus Calgar, who is the Ultramarine Chapter Master special character. So, he's thought of by a lot of people to be the Imperium's version of Abaddon. And he's not the only special character to be thought of like that, but I think he fits it the best. So that's just my opinion, though. Now, I did Abaddon already, so you can watch that video and watch this one and make your own assumption on that, or not your own assumption, that's the wrong word, your own opinion, there we go, on if you think it's true or not. Now, he does excel in certain things where Abaddon doesn't, and Abaddon excels in certain areas that Marneus doesn't, so they're not mirror opposites or anything. Let's see. He's 250 points. Weapon skill of 6, ballistic skill of 5, strength and toughness of 4, 4 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 3 plus save. He's infantry, power armor, power sword, iron halo, and gauntlets of Ultramar. He has Nation Know No Fear, combat tactics, independent character, titanic might, god of war, orbital bombardment, and eternal warrior. He can replace his power armor with armor of Antilochus for 15 points. Now, that's the armor you see here, is Terminator armor. He has Master of Ultramarines, meaning if he's in your army, you can have 3 honor guard squads instead of the allowed 1. Although only 1 can have a chapter banner, and they don't count towards the HQ allowance. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at his specials in War Gear. Orbital bombardment is something all chapter masters in this codex have, being a generic or a special character chapter master. So I'm not going to go into it here. Nation No Fear, combat tactic, eternal warrior, independent character we should know. He has Titanic Might, lets him reroll all failed attempts to wound with shooting and close combat attacks, which is very nice. God of War lets Marneus Calgar choose whether to pass or fail any morale check he is called upon to make, and while he's still on the table, all units with the combat tactics special rule can also choose whether to pass or fail any morale check they are called upon to make. This is a very big rule, very nice rule, and this is where he differs from the beatsticks like Abaddon. He, while being his own beatstick, he gives a big boost to your army overall, aside from just being a beatstick. He has Gauntlets of Ultramar, which are a pair of power fists, and they contain bolters that fire with the following profile: 24 inches, strength 4, AP2, assault 2. Now, while each fist has a bolter underneath it, it only fires one set with that profile, so you're not shooting assault 2 and then assault 2 again. They fire as one, and that's why you have that profile. AP2 isn't bad. That's pretty damn good for a bolter. And he has the armor of Antilochus, which is Terminator armor, and includes the teleport Homer. That's pretty cool. Now, before I go into how I would use him and my opinions on using Marneus, I'm going to go over some, what needs to be changed, if anything. Now, firstly, offering him power armor and Terminator armor. It's cool, don't get me wrong. Power armor has its advantages over Terminator armor, and Terminator armor has advantages over power armor. However, they don't offer him power armor anymore. Yes, you can convert up a model. They do offer power fists for both hands, so you can convert up a model to be like Marneus, especially if you're using this counts as. But honestly, it's not the same as having a model that they used to offer that they don't anymore in power armor. Now, it's a hell of a lot easier to convert up a power armor with 2 power fists than it is to do that with Terminator armor. But at the same time, there seems to be a shift away from the power armor to him in Terminator armor. He is pictured in Terminator armor all the time now. The previous edition of the Codex, he was in Terminator armor on the cover. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if whenever the next generic Space Marine Codex comes out, if he was only offered in Terminator armor. So I think they should just do that anyway, but that's just my opinion. Now, as far as point cost, rules, war gear, and stat line and whatnot, I think he's fine. I really don't think he needs anything. any boosts or anything taken away. I think everything is fine. He doesn't need his Power Fist to be considered mastercrafted because he has Titanic Might. He doesn't need really anything added or taken away. I think he's points heavy, don't get me wrong. He is high in points, but he's not overpriced and he's not underpriced. So I think he's fine as is. Now, how would I use him? Well, there's the obvious answer of give him an honor guard and have him kick some ass. And yes, you can do this, but should you do this, shell out the points for a Land Raider. Don't have him walk across the battlefield. Unless he's in power armor, then you can put him in a Rhino or something. But I'm going to talk about utilizing him as in Terminator armor. You could take what I say here and change minor details to make it fit with power armor, but I love Terminator armor. I think the model looks badass. So that's why I'm doing that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to go points heavy with the honor guard. He does come with 4 honor guard, which are great models. I want to use them for other things, but I don't want to grind off the iconography of the Ultramarines because it's everywhere. So I won't be utilizing these models for anything except painting up like that, should I ever do that. But anyway, getting off topic. Aside from using his honor guard, though, you could have him attached to anything. I suggest having him attached to a squad, even if you just attach him to a tactical marine squad you have, because that's all you got. Attach him to something. He's going to draw a lot of firepower, yes, but it's better him attached to something than walking around by himself. Also, I highly suggest him being in a transport. If he's in Terminator armor, put him in a Land Raider. I don't care which version you put him in some sort of a Land Raider. I wouldn't deep strike him in Terminator armor only because his God of War rule, he needs to be on the table. And I'd rather have him on the table all the time than wait for him to come in from reserves. So, unless the mission forces him to be in reserves, I wouldn't put him in reserves. Let's see. So, if you don't put honor guard with him, what can you attach him to, or what should you attach him to? You can attach him to anything. Scout squads even work. They're cheap. Vanguards, anything, assault or anything will work. And tactical marines, or anything works. The only thing I wouldn't attach him to is a Devastator squad. But if you're fielding assault marines without jump packs, then I would attach him to that. If they have jump packs, don't attach him to it. But that's the only real things I would say as far as what not to attach him to. Anything that's can walk, and anything that's just regular infantry, I would attach him to, aside from Devastators. Put him in a Land Raider and get him where you can get in the grips with the foe, but I wouldn't overextend yourself. Like, even with the honor guard, I wouldn't load them up in a Land Raider and then blitz them down the battlefield as quick as possible. They're going to overextend themselves from the support of the rest of the army. And this is a character that, yes, he's big and badass, but he also supports your army, and therefore your army supports him. Plus, Land Raiders attract a lot of firepower. Marneus Calgar is going to attract a lot of firepower, and honor guards attract a lot of firepower, especially if they got the relic blades. And even in general, they attract a lot of firepower. So you put these 3 things together in one spot, it's attracting a hell of a lot of firepower. So you're gonna have to be smart with it. Maneuver through terrain, around terrain, to minimize what can shoot at it. Bait and switch with it. Do something so it can actually get there, and you can not get killed before you even arrive at your location. Which is why I don't like to overextend myself. One thing I would do, and how I would utilize them, is, unlike other B6, which, rush out there and kill things, that's all they can do, that's all the special rules and warrior allow, and then have your army support that. Move your army up, have your army do things, and be the main force that your opponent has to deal with, and then support that with Marneus. What this does is, it doesn't put him out there to be as the prime target. It puts him out of the way. And yes, he's still a big target, but what is your opponent going to do? Is it smarter to focus, try and kill him, even if you have to move more out of the way or fire over things? is it better to kill what's right in front of you and closest to you first to get to him? And it all depends, of course, on the situation, but this lets him reinforce your line, basically. You move up or do a pincer, whatever you're doing, he can get to where you need him the most and then kick some ass, because either your opponent's going to come to you if they're assault heavy, you're going to go to them if they're shooting heavy, or if there's a mix, chances are something's going to come close where you can blitz the Land Raider out forward, drop him off, let him assault into it, and then next turn he can go back in the Land Raider and go somewhere else. So you don't need to just run towards the enemy, you can let them come, so to speak. And when you do this, you can see how your opponent moves, if certain parts of his line break from the other, or if he overextends himself, you can capitalize on that by either attacking that with your army or with Marneus, or maneuvering Marneus the opposite way, something like that, depending on the situation. So that's how I would utilize him. I'll put him in a Land Raider in his Terminator armor with some sort of squad. If I had the points, the Honor Guard, they look cool and they're a fun unit. But Assault Marines without jump packs can work. Vanguard without jump packs can work very well. Stern Guard can work, but then you're splitting between shooting a lot or assaulting. Scout squads work pretty well, actually. They're low on cost for points. They can be assault oriented as far as war gear and whatnot goes, and they can work pretty well. So don't discount that. Now, as far as Marneus' strengths and weaknesses go, obviously his strength is in the assault phase. Now, don't forget he has a power sword, so you can utilize a power sword instead of his gauntlets. He just attacks at his normal initiative at strength, at normal strength. But if you're dealing with low toughness guys and you want to go at initiative, you have the option to, which is pretty cool. Although more often than not, you're probably just going to go with your gauntlets, because strength 8, you get more attacks with your gauntlets than you do with your power sword if you don't have anything to pair the power sword with. Especially if he's attached to things that can go at initiative. There you go. But his strengths really come in the assault phase. His weaknesses are the shooting. Any special characters, even if they're a good shooting special character, weakness is the shooting phase. Because the shooting phase is the equalizer for armies. If they don't have good strength, they can have weapons with good strength, so to speak. So, his shooting phase is the weakest. He can go down to anti-Terminator tactics, just like any Terminator special character can, be it chaos or otherwise. What else? Also, he does go at initiative 1, so you do have to be careful what you assault into, and especially if you don't have him supported very well. Remember, the key is to support him. He needs a squad to assault with, or else he's just going to get overrun going at initiative 1. Yes, on the charge he has 6 attacks with a power fist, but going up against a 20-boy mob, he's going to get overrun. He's not going to do enough. So, having him attached to a squad will help. Now, one thing you can do, regardless of whether he's in a Land Raider or not, or regardless of what he's attached to, you can put some Terminators in the reserve. I don't think I said this, and if I have, I'm going to reiterate it. Put Terminators in reserve if you're utilizing them in your army, and then deep strike them utilizing his teleport homer right near him to support him. You get him close, deep strike them in. On the turn move, previous turn, get him close up. Then this turn, let's say your rolling reserves are coming in, deep strike them where he is, and he can move, assault, shoot, whatever, and then the Terminator squad can assault, shoot, whatever, and then you instantly applied more pressure to your opponent in a precision manner because it didn't scatter. So yeah, there's a decent amount of stuff you can do. Those are just my opinions. I think Marneus is a cool looking special character. He comes with a cool looking squad, and he's not just all bling, if you will. He also can offer your army a lot with his special rules, and can take the fight to the enemy. He's no slouch. So that's pretty much it. Until next time, take it easy.